You've had a lot of years. You've had a lot of years in your career. You've had a lot of experiences. You've had relationships. You've had places that you visited. You've had emotional experiences. You have memory. That's something that your brain has. You have a brain. We all have a brain. And the brain's job is to collect all of these memories. Why? So that when you see something, when you look at something, you can interpret it, you can make sense of it. But there's a danger also that came with our brain, and that is that we kind of climb up a ladder, that the more and more we have experience, the more we close off to what it is that we see being something different. So we have to find distinctions in our brain. You see, we collect and we collect and we put all of these different sort of knowns in drawers. And when we look at what we look at, we say, I know what that is, or I see that that's about to happen, and then we feel fear. Or, I have all of those things are stashed away in me. And so as we look upon things, what we do is we take what we see and we compare it to what it is that we know. And this stifles the creativity that we can have. Because if the only thing we do is compare what we see to what we know, most of the time knowledge is limited. The knowledge that we have is very limited in looking at something and really recognizing what speaks back to us. Because what we look at often speaks back to us. When you observe something in nature, it speaks back to you. When you observe something in life, it speaks back to you. But how is it going to get in if the only thing we're looking out from is what our distinctions are, our dogma, our traditional forms, our traditional patterns of seeing? So as a creator, as an entrepreneur, somebody who brings creations into being, you not only have this way you approach what you want, but you also have a way in which you attend to the moment. You listen. It's been said that love is not only generative, but the other side of love is the seeing. And the seeing is being able to see the purity, be able to see what something is as it is, not as you are. So as you look at your relationship, can you see it as it is, not as you are? When you look at your daughter, can you see her as she is, not as you are? When I say as you are, it means, are you looking at your thoughts or are you looking at what's going on? Because over a period of time, all of these experiences, we start to form theories, and our theories become facts, and then those things become concrete. And then what we do is we fall back on those pieces of knowledge. But how many times have you come to a point in your life where that does not work with what the situation is needing from you? It requires a different approach. So I just found over the years that entrepreneurs learn in a very different way. They don't learn by using the past. It's not just the past that they learn from. They learn by creating the future as it is unfolding, as it is showing up. So they are not only keeping a straight connection with what it is they want to create, which orients them here, how it gives them a sense of direction and gives them the ability to make decisions, right? To decide, to murder the alternative, to decide what right actions are necessary, to be on purpose. But we also have something else that unfolds, that as we listen, we have a part of us that is standing in us that is essential. It is an essential self. What is that essential self? Well, it's that you have something in you. You're a carrier of something, and that there is a destiny that stands in need of you. It's not just that you want to create. It's not that you want to push force, that you want to have it happen. Yes, you can orient yourself that way in the creative. Instead of reacting and responding to everything in the conditions, you can orient yourself in the creative. But what about not just that, but you are poised in such a way that what you hear, it allows you to listen inwardly with what is emerging. You begin to sense where you are energized. The voltage begins to turn up on what you can do. It happens in the conversations that you have. It happens with the people that you're around. It comes through the social networks that you have informally. So how do we shift? We have to shift through others. How do we see who we are? I can only see me through you. You can only see you through me. You've never seen your own face. The only way you can see your face is through somebody else. That's why there's coaches. Every one of us has a blind spot. We have a built-in blind spot, and some of us are comfortable with our own ignorance, in other words, what we can't see, and others are not. And the ones that are not are using all their experience, and what they see, they compare it to it, and they say, oh, that's really true, or oh, I know what that means. But there's a whole other type of learning, and that is that what it is that you see, you only compare to what you want to create. And if it's on point with what you want to create, if it's in the line of sight, like an eclipse with what you want to create, then you're on purpose. But what is emerging in you is these personal gifts. You see, what you love are your gifts. Because as you're focusing on what you truly want, you begin to see parts of yourself come forth because you don't know how to create what you want. So you begin to find parts of you that you haven't met before. So if you're concerned about whether you'll know how or not, you really don't know whether you can until you create it. That's the cosmic joke. So if you're trying to believe you can do it, I can't foster that. You have no evidence. Why don't we originate separate from what we know? Wouldn't that orient us in life? Wouldn't that poise us with a sense of greater involvement, participation? So if we're talking about orienting yourself in the creative, we're talking about attending a certain way in the moments that you're in and paying deeper attention to what those are, and a more generative listening that is really in the flow. And as you line these two things up, I've constantly talked about that, is how do we eclipse what's going on in current reality and what it is that we want to have happen tomorrow. And we seem to operate between those two, and something really, really incredible begins to happen. Maybe even predictable miracles begin to happen. The doors begin to open, because everything the future is needing is being given to us in this moment. So why don't we trust what's trying to happen? Not so far that we flow down the rapids of the river out of control, but why don't we take another look? Go up in the helicopter, step out of ourselves, look at what's happening, and then what it is that we want, and operating between those two.